Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of Gamers Council. And man, I am so excited. We have got a packed house tonight and we have got some amazing guests as well as the amazing co-host, RHETRI. RHETRI, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great, Dave. Thanks for having me. I guess you don't have a choice.
I don't. No, I do. And I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate you being a part of the show.
Sure.
Oh, goodness. And we also have Asante. K, buddy, thank you so much for being here.
Evening, all evening. I hope I'm coming in nice and loud. Last time I was here, people were complaining I wasn't loud enough. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
There you go.
I'm here.
That's right.
Perfect,
Bring it.
Perfect.
How's everybody doing?
And then we are very, very pleased to have with us the one and only Thor19.
What's going on, everybody? Is my mic sounding good? Is it loud enough?
I think
I got to be louder than
I am.
Asante. I got to drown out Asante. Right?
I think you're doing it.
But before Rand spoke, I expected to hear that sound. The man with the million.
Oh, well.
I'm sorry, I needed to hear that.
Wrong show.
You know Dave's got it. He's got it. Right
Does he have
now.
it?
Guaranteed. Guaranteed he has it.
Okay, there we go.
Good job.
I know he has it ready to go.
Do I have
called
it? Of
him
course I do. You ready? Here we go.
The man with the million. Oh.
There it is.
Go.
Is that the same one Fonz has or just a
No, it's
random one that you
it's
No,
a
it's a
grabbed?
different one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a different one.
You got to go. Okay, because you got it. It's the man with the million. There you
Oh,
go.
boy.
That's
And
Exclusive.
it's coming through the headphones, man.
Yeah.
You gotta stop it.
We got that recorded. We're good. We're gonna reuse that one.
I might have to get a mop. Oh my goodness.
Oh jeez.
Stop it now.
And like, all right, pause. And we did get a message from SloMo. He says he's on his way.
Oh,
He'll be here.
he's
in a
in
minute.
here. He's in here.
So did he jump in?
Yeah.
There he is.
Slow-mo is always late.
Oh,
One thing you can count on is slow-mo. being late.
This slander.
Oh
There he
man,
is.
that is not true. I mean,
very
it's
true.
kind of true.
I
I'm gonna
can't
slow-mo.
really
gonna sit
defend
here.
myself right now, but
I'm
I'm
gonna
really
sit
trying.
here.
Now's not the time to defend yourself.
I'm gonna sit here and be quiet while Thor19 accuses SloMoBackSlap of CPT. I'll be quiet. I'm just.
I mean, no. It's nothing but love for slow-mo because he is my Bridge 4 brother. So
Absolutely, man. Bridge
What's
4
going
for
on,
life.
Smoke?
For life. No, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. You know, it's a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. It's part of the
Absolutely.
reason why I'm just kind of getting in here is, spend time with moms and the wife and just making sure that, like, they understand that I appreciate everything. Everything.
Smart
So,
man. That's what you should do, and that's a smart move right there. Absolutely.
Exactly. And again, thank everybody for being here tonight, man. This is awesome. It's going to be a great panel. It's going to be a great show, and people are starting to pile in the chat, and we appreciate every single one of you. We have a couple of ways you guys can reach out. Obviously, we don't do super chats right now because we're not at that level yet, but we're getting there. But even then, we want you to make sure that you know that you are a part of the show. If you have questions, if you have a point of view that you want to get across, please put it in the chat and we will do our best to pop it up on the screen and we'll maybe discuss it. And who knows, you may even change the whole conversation of the show. You just never know. So don't feel like you can't be a part of it because you can. And we do appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Also, I want to say too that we do have this really neat little function. It's in the description below. So all you got to do is click on that. And that is the SpeakPipe. And with SpeakPipe, what that does is it enables you to record about up to a 90-second commercial. A 90-second spot. Let us know, get your point across, and you have the option to re-record.
Listen back.
In other words,
yeah,
exactly.
You can listen to your stuff before you hit the send button in case you sound like a moron or something.
Kay actually did that a couple of weeks ago for us to try it out, and it
Sounded
sounded
like
great.
a moron. Yes, I did.
No.
No, you did not. You actually, you give us really good questions, Kay. So some zingers. Absolutely.
Exactly. So everybody in the chat is worth jumping in. So anyway, I'll shut up so we can keep things going. But also want to look. We got John Wolf, we got Crispy Bomb in the chat. So many other amazing people in the chat, and thank you guys for being here. RHETRI, what is our first conversation tonight?
Well, first of all, we want to get into what everyone is playing. I like to know what you guys are doing, and if there's any pop culture stuff, TV shows, movies, or anything that is interested in you right now. So I'll start with you, Rand, what you're playing, any weird pop culture stuff, and then we'll go around the horn.
what am I playing? Okay, so I am playing through Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Finally.
Excellent.
So yeah, I think I'm like 11 hours in, but I'm still on that like first planet, I guess. Just going around trying to find everything I can find the first time through. Loving the game. I think anybody that's listened to Xbox 2 knows that this was my most anticipated game of the year. And I was finally being able to get sit down and be able to play through it. And it's living up to my expectations so far, at least for like what the game is, how it plays, and like the story. The thing that doesn't live up to my expectations is that god-awful performance mode on Series X, because Jesus, holy cow. Sometimes it's perfectly fine, but most of the time in that open world, whoo, even with VRR on your TV, you definitely notice it. And I don't know, so it's just kind of like, I mean, I could bear through it, but it's just like, oh man, how did this not release in a better state?
Seems to be a theme this year.
Yeah, at least it's not broken on PC, like it is for the
Right.
PC guys. But that's what I've been playing. So
Very nice.
cool.
Any books? Anything pop culture? Or
Any
just
books?
the game?
Oh,
I
you
am
messed
weird.
up now.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
I
done
shouldn't have
messed
asked
up.
that. I think I just opened up a can of worms.
It's all right. We love it.
I
Talk
just
about it.
finished the 6th book in the Dresden Files. I'm
Oh,
on a
nice.
journey to read all 17, but I'm kind of taking that slow. I'm usually read like two of those a month.
Nice.
But right now I'm currently reading Jade War, the 2nd book in the Greenbone saga, which is basically the Godfather. It's like set in modern times, but it's like a Godfather story with fantasy elements. It's actually pretty damn good, and it's
Nice.
it's interesting because you usually when you read fantasy, sometimes it's kind of set in an area like SloMo knows, like one of our favorite series is Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, and it's sort of set in like kind of a medieval time period, right? But like this one is set in like sort of present day, cars, guns, like all that sort of stuff. And it's interesting to read a story that's set in like an urban fantasy. It's a nice change of pace from what you normally get in some of these stories. But yeah, I haven't really read many like Godfather-esque stories. This is like two clans that are fighting each other, and it's a lot of political intrigue, a lot of like all that sort of stuff, and it's really good. It's fantastic. So that's what I have been up to. Oh, and I started watching Foundation on Apple
nice.
TV.
On Apple, yeah.
Because
yeah.
season two is going to be starting in a couple months, so I needed to watch the first season.
Very cool.
Looks incredible. Although the story is not really what Isaac Asimov kind of wrote.
A little hard to follow, I think.
Yeah, a
in
lot
the
of
series
terms they throw at you, but I'm enjoying it. I'm 3 episodes in, so that's what I've been
Nice.
up to.
Awesome. Little shout out to you, Ran. You actually got me into Vinland Saga, so I got back
Vinland.
into.
Oh right.
Yeah. So I thought that was a cool one. SloMo, brother, what
Yo.
are you playing?
Well, I've been playing Honkai.
Oh jeez.
Star Rail.
You and my one of my best friends too. I think you spent like $500 on the game.
I have spent zero so far. Absolutely nothing. And I am enjoying myself. I was playing last night and I was almost kind of like, man, I just used up all of my star tickets and I didn't get any characters. I almost want to just see what happens if I was just like, nope. I see what you trying to do, game. I'm good with what I got. I got 10 characters right now, and I'm just going to keep playing the game. Like, it has a pretty interesting story. It's like Genshin Impact. And
Okay.
It's basically the same method of acquiring characters and progressing through the story, except the story is a bit more focused with this one. And in Genshin Impact, it was a little bit more all over the place. But the combat is different. Genshin Impact is an action RPG. This is turn-based RPG. But it's pretty good. Animation's great. The characters look awesome. It's a lot of fun. So it's only on PC and mobile. So if you don't have a PC that can handle it, which is, I mean, like, honestly, like I think like a 1060 GPU could run this game. It's really, really easy to run. But it's also on mobile. It's not on Xbox or PlayStation yet. I think it probably will eventually come to consoles at some point, but it's just not at the moment. But I've been playing that. That's been a lot of fun. I've also been jumping into Fortnite because they got the whole Star Wars thing going right now. Like you can actually get lightsabers in the map and force push people like halfway across the map and cut people in half is great. I just love it.
Nice. God, I love Fortnite. So good.
Fortnite is like they have that ability to just like, oh, is that what's popping now? All right, let's go.
It always comes back. Yeah, it always comes back around. Like they're so good at the marketing.
They're so good at just adapting at whatever is popular and just incorporating it into the game in a way that people just go, oh yeah, of course they have that now.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, you're just shaking your head. I'm like, of course Fortnite has these guys because they get everybody under the sun.
Yeah,
they're unreal. Unreal.
I haven't been reading. So I haven't been reading like fiction. Like that, but I've been reading lately. I've been reading this graphic novel called "Something Is Killing the Children." It's a graphic novel about essentially monsters are real. You know how like little kids believe there's a monster under their bed or in their closet. Well, there actually is a monster in their closet. But like the thing is that if the child believes it bad enough, that it will actually start to come out and like rip people apart, rip them apart, like their family, their friends, everything. And then like, so there are these people who go around suppressing it, essentially, like dealing with the fact that these monsters are real, killing the monsters, getting rid of it, silencing any people that might go public with it. And it's pretty cool.
Right.
It's a pretty cool
That sounds
story.
awesome. Sounds like something I would get into. I just wrote that down. That sounds good. I like that.
It's something I can see that could like, it's so well written that like I think it probably would end up being like a TV series or something at some point, except for the whole child murder thing, because this is literally dead bodies of children all over the place. Like it's just like I just can't see any network being like, man, I don't think we can have this many dead kids like this.
I don't know. After watching Amazon and watching The Boys, I really didn't think Amazon was going to do that. I was like, oh, okay.
Hey,
First episode of The Boys.
Look, if you check out Something Is Killing the Children, with the first issue, you'll be like, oh, like I mean, you probably have never seen like it depicted in that manner. It's just pretty wild. But yeah, but no, that's what I've been into lately.
Awesome. Okay, sir, what have you been playing?
So yeah, since we're crossing genres, we're crossing different mediums. I'll hit you with some of the stuff I've been playing. So all right, so as far as games that I have been playing, of course I built a PC, built a really good PC, so I've been putting it through its paces. I re-rolled a character in Cyberpunk. I'm playing through the basically the path tracing mode. Really, really, really like a unique experience, a different experience. Enjoying it. If you haven't played Cyberpunk, I'm sure it's a cliche at this point. Play Cyberpunk. It's not as broken as it was when it first started. It's actually
much better
at its core an amazing game, and you will be surprised at how good that game is. You'll be like, wow, in a vacuum, that game is brilliant. So I've been playing that. Actually wanted to finish. I've been trying to finish Ghostwire Tokyo. Believe it or not, still playing that thing on the old G Cloud through cloud streaming. Why? I don't know. I'm just doing it.
You crazy?
I don't know. It just plays. It plays good and it works, and I don't care. And at night when I just kind of need to pick up something and play, that's what I've been doing. So I've been playing that on the G Cloud. I've been playing Midnight Suns on the Steam Deck.
Nice.
One of those. I think I've been playing that game for months now at this point. And of course, Jedi Survivor. I've been playing on PC. I do hear you, Rand, that it's still not as good on PC because it's still not as good on PC. But I will tell you, on my machine, the worst thing I've experienced is I'm playing it 2 hours, 3 hours in, it crashes. Reset the whole thing. I'm playing 2-3 hours and it crashes. Reset the whole thing. That's the worst.
You think there's some kind of like a memory leak? Issue
there's
going
something like that's going on. Yeah,
I haven't had any crashes on console.
When I'm in the game, it's 144 frames per second with everything set to ultra, with ray tracing and all this other madness. It is chef's kiss, but you're playing, and it crashes, and eventually,
Right.
you know, it's a little annoyances here and there. And I do hear that there's a talk of a patch coming soon, so I don't think it's kind of overblown at this point. You know, give it time, it should be fine. So I've been playing that. But to your point, excellent game. If you like the first one, oh boy, continue playing. It gets better and better and better and better. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So I've been loving that. So on the topic of TV and movies, so my wife my wife and I do not. She specifically is not that much of a movie buff. She's getting more and more into it because of me. I used to be a huge movie buff, so I've been trying to get her back into it. The latest movie we watched is American Gangster. If you don't know what American Gangster is,
I love that movie.
Go watch American Gangster. American Gangster is amazing, starring Denzel Washington. 2007, I think it was made. One of the best movies. It's just the whole movie drips with swagger. I love that movie. It's amazing.
Yeah, the little part where he, kind of offs that guy and just walks back and sits down. I was
and
like,
sits down and goes,
holy
what
F.
was I talking about again? Yeah, I was like, yes, this is
so
the boss.
good.
This is the boss. Yes.
Yep.
As far as TV is concerned, I'm in. Well, if you can call it TV, Netflix. I'm watching this weird experimental show called Kaleidoscope. I don't know if anyone.
Oh yeah,
I heard about it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I've heard of it.
Netflix
I haven't
show
seen it,
that you
though.
can watch in any order or
In
something.
any order, yes. And there is one event, and every time you watch it, it's like time that a time within that timeline before or after or during that event, and somehow it's very interesting anytime you see it. Today you see the character, they're in jail. Tomorrow you see the character, they're 85. The next day you see the character, they're young and in high school. It's very
Right.
interesting how they've been able to stitch the storytelling where anyone can just kind of jump in on any timeline of it and still get a beneficial story and still understand what's going on. Interesting. Haven't seen the whole thing, but it's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool, and I think it's an interesting place we find ourselves where filmmakers can find a way of experimenting in that way, and I like that. Whether
Yeah.
it works
Yeah.
successfully or not, hey, you take some, you lose some, but they're stretching their legs, and I think that's cool. So,
I mean,
so
you're
there's
not
that.
watching the show that Jez is watching, Naked and Afraid?
Which is- no. Definitely
Not watching Naked
not
and Afraid?
Okay.
Okay.
Definitely not naked and afraid. No.
Yes.
And finally, to add to the reading, well, this is, I wouldn't know if you call this reading. This is the last thing I actually read this 2 weeks ago. Since we found out not too long ago that there will be a game based on it, I thought, why not read the trade that came out called TMNT: The Last Ronin. I don't know if you guys heard.
Yep.
I was reading that. Really cool story. I hope it translates perfectly into the game, because if it does, oh boy, that's a bloody mess. I can't wait for it. It looks fantastic. You know how original source material gets dumbed down for its adaptation. I really hope this is not afflicted that way, because if it translates directly, wow, they are maturing that franchise, that brand in games exponentially with this game, and I hope they do. So yeah, it's
Good.
good.
That's what we need. We need some maturity. Batman level type of. That's what I want to see. I want to see some
Sure.
grungy,
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. I would love to see that.
Emo
Awesome.
TMNT is what you're saying. I understand.
Right. Exactly. Well, I'm of course playing Redfall because I'm a shill, and I started watching a new show on
Boo
Apple
this
TV
man.
called boo. Go ahead, boo me. It's all good.
Isn't the internet didn't the internet tell me that you're supposed to hate that game and there's no
internet-
redeeming qualities at all? To
Absolutely, but I love to piss off the internet, and I always go against the grain. So I'm just like,
Boo
plus
that
it's
man. I'm
honestly,
sorry.
I kind of like that. I kind of like the game. I'm not gonna lie. All right, WebDave, I hear you over there. Yeah, so
playing.
Apple TV has a show called Silo. It's pretty cool if you want to watch a Fallout show before Amazon's Fallout show comes out. That's what Silo is kind of about. It's really interesting. I suggest you guys check it out if you're interested in that sort of end of the world type of show. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. Dave, what about you, sir? What you playing?
Okay, so playing
Jedi Survivor,
of
maybe?
Zelda,
Oh yes,
the new one. Me and my daughter went and picked it up. So, and so we've been playing that. She's a lot further along than I am, and I don't know if you've seen some of the videos going around of the creative mode where you can actually build things and some people have made some really, really obscene things in the game already. I don't know how they come up with this crazy stuff, but they've done it. So yeah, interesting. But the game is fun. You know, I don't necessarily know. To me, it doesn't seem like it's a 10 out of 10. Not to get that controversy, but I think it's a good game, a solid game, fun to play, and that, you know, as far as games go, and that's pretty much the
Question.
threshold. Yes.
How does it run on the old switcheroony, the old
Fine.
abacus? 60 frames, 30 frames? How's it
Oh
run?
no, it's I mean, 20 to 30 maybe. I don't have any way of like judging it. But
I ask, and this is not me for blowing smoke. Forgive me.
No.
I ask. I too have been playing Tears of the Kingdom, but I have not been playing it on the on the Switch at all. I've basically been playing it on the PC at 4K 60.
yeah.
But I hear on the deck, I hear on the Switch, it's actually not that bad. Game is also actually pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
that's the
said,
rumor.
This guy over here, you know,
I didn't know Nintendo put it on PC. That's interesting.
Nintendo can put it wherever the hell they want.
but did they put it on PC?
Sure.
They don't have to.
Once you own
As
it,
long as I can.
Emulation.
Hey, you wouldn't download a car, would you?
If a car could be downloaded, sure.
well, one little side note. You were talking about Naked and Afraid, right? So at the time, this was a few years back now, I have a nephew. At the time, he was 8 years old, and his sister, who was maybe 4 or 5 years older than him, came up to my sister-in-law and said, why is Deacon in the backyard running around with a stick and he's naked? And she opened the door and yelling at him, "What are you doing?" And he turned around and said, "I'm playing Naked and Afraid."
Jeez.
Can you imagine?
That's
Oh my
great.
God. Yeah. So needless to say, good times. Good times. Sorry, I just had to share that story.
Okay, Asante, do you even know what Naked and Afraid is? Have you even heard of the show?
Look at his face. He's like, come on.
Why would you ask me that question?
I'm just curious. Does people in chat know what Naked and Afraid is? SloMo, do you know?
I have
I
no
know
idea
what
what
it is.
Naked and
I
Afraid
actually
is,
did
but I
watch
am
it, I'm not gonna
afraid
lie.
to find out at this point.
It's like it's like a reality
Survival show.
where they
Survival
take
show.
two people and they put them in the woods
Yep.
and they're naked. They're completely naked, and they have to survive for like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Hence,
no,
Naked and
no
Afraid.
resources,
No clothes, no resources.
Right, yeah,
just-
exactly.
It was at the height of the worst of all reality shows. I think it was 2012, 2013. The height of it was like one step removed from freaking Survivor. It was terrible.
Yeah, but it gets the
television.
numbers.
I remember
That's
it
the crazy part.
fondly.
Because everyone's like, is a person good looking? And then you watch the show and you're like, oh, no. Damn it.
They were until you left them naked and
was
afraid in the
thinking.
woods for a week. You know,
That's
was
true.
thinking
That's
about that.
very
I was like,
true.
How's this person looking?
Kind of
naked?
looking
I
like
don't
a
know if I wanna see that.
caveman. Right. Exactly.
Oh goodness.
All right.
So what we got next?
Yeah, so we're gonna this is gonna be an open discussion. We're not gonna do kind of round table. I'm gonna let anyone kind of jump onto this. We're gonna be talking about I say Asus. I've heard Asus, so say it however you want to say it. The Asus ROG Ally, the Xbox handheld beast. Is it the one we've been waiting for? And I guess that's kind of the question. Guys, anyone can chime in at any time. This thing is starting at $600 for the Z1 chip, the normal Z1 chip, I guess you can say, with 512 gigabytes of SSD, which I do find that cool at least, because the rumor was it was actually 256, but I guess we're getting 512 gigs, so that's kind of neat. That's coming Q3. And then we have the $700 version, which is, pre-ordered now, which should be out next month, I believe. $700 for the Z1 Extreme chips with all the teraflops, all the flops. Guys, is this the thing? Is this the Steam Deck killer? Is this the beast we've been waiting for? Anyone can start off. I'm just curious, like, what your first thoughts of this device? Are you getting it? Are you excited? Is the price point good? What's your thoughts?
so I know anything I say We have SloMo here. He's gonna tell me that the Valve executives are eyeballing me, so I'm gonna keep my eyes out on that. Right?
Hey, I just want to let you know that that's absolutely true.
That is
a
absolutely
Valve
true, yes,
executive
yes,
right
yes.
here. His name is
Yeah,
Craig.
exactly.
He's
That's
sitting
right.
right beside me.
Craig, the Valve executive.
And
I get it.
Craig
Okay.
is very unhappy that you're
So, let
once
me-
again here talking about this
Yeah, that's
product
right.
that's not
So
Steam Deck.
Craig might be happy. Let me give you my take on this. Okay, Craig might be happy. We'll see. So my take on it, after seeing everything we've seen, my take on it right now is that it is an exciting device. I think it's cool. I wasn't convinced when I first saw the drip feed of information. Now that I actually see the whole thing, and I've seen some reviewers that I trust have had hands on, and they've given their takes. Some people really go through extensive reviews and whatnot. So at this point, I'm more confident in buying in. I still have a lot of concerns. Like there are certain real concerns that I have and we'll speak to that, RHETRI, because depending on how you brought this conversation was super interesting. My concern is
Hey, let me ask you before you dive into any spec stuff. Just like plain and simple, black and white.
Yeah.
Price, is the price right? Do you think?
Yeah. Well, okay. So all of this is a whole big game of caveats. It's a whole big game of but asterisks everywhere, right?
No, that's fine. I like asterisks.
So this thing is like, and I've already used this analogy, so forgive me if you've heard me say this, but this is like way back in the day. Right now, today, Android and iOS are basically the same thing. But back in the day, when Android and iOS were in their fledgling, they both served different audiences, like very much different audiences, right? This is like that. This is the Galaxy device to Steam Deck's iOS device.
Yes.
Right? Within the bounds where they both overlap, which is and for those who don't understand, they overlap in power, and power is measured by TDP. So they go, let's say 0 to 15, right? Steam Deck ends at 15, but the ROG Ally allows for far more, right? Mm-hmm. The reason why this thing is still, it's interesting, but I was asking for caution in the marketing is, even within the right now, today, after all the testing has come out, within the bounds where the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck...
Look at all the teraflops.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Yeah, within the bounds where the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck overlap, as far as the 0 to 15, the Steam Deck does more with less.
Okay, yeah, I can.
You see what I'm saying?
You.
So in other words, if you play a like for like game, right, and you hit 8 watts on the Steam Deck, right, that same game hitting 8 watts on the ROG Ally will last shorter than it would on the Steam Deck. It does more with the power you give it than the ROG Ally does. But the plus
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question on that though, because I personally don't see anyone who's a hardcore gamer, which I expect anyone who's going to drop 700 is a hardcore gamer, is going to be touching not the performance mode, but the low wattage modes on this. Like in that case, I don't think anyone would be using the low wattage modes on this. Wouldn't they be performance or turbo?
That's the thing. Like when you first buy these things, right? You think you're the yes, the ROG's 15 TB is better. Anything over 15, then the ROG starts beating. Yes, anything under 15, that's actually exactly. And thank you, Mr. Joanna Dark. That's exactly the point I was about to bring up, right? When you buy this thing, your assumption is, oh, I'm buying it because I'm going to play these mobile games, these AAA games on the go, blah 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 blah. As you start using it, as it becomes part of your life, you start realizing that, okay, these devices are better if I want it to last longer on the train or whatever. These devices are better if I happen to play, I don't know, this or that indie game versus Cyberpunk, right? Your gaming habits will change based on the longevity of where you want that battery to live. Right.
All right.
And because of that, you'll end up not using this to play, even though, yes, it's a kick to be able to play Cyberpunk for 90 minutes probably less on this thing. and it can do it, right? But that it can only do it with that in mind when you're literally plugged right next to an outlet. You end up, the longer you use it for, you end up starting to calibrate your gaming experiences based on how long you need to game for. It changes
honestly,
your equation.
Isn't that all these handhelds? Like, aren't all of them like this?
100%.
The Switch is like
100%.
that. The
Yes.
Steam Deck is like that. Where
No
the
doubt.
more you're gaming, offline,
No doubt.
not connected to something, the more you're like, man, I
but
gotta
in-
go
but
find
in
an
that
outlet
world-
fast.
But in that world, that's why it seems that Valve is still smiling, because you can say whatever you want. Oh yeah, this thing, you can throw whatever hardware you want at it. If they catch you playing, if you actually sit down and start playing these things, you'll find out that the benefits are at the low end, not the high end. And in that low end, Valve still beats this guy, right? But it's not all gloom and doom. Like, there's a reason I bought in, because it is very much a power user tool. That's also a concern I have for those who are like, oh, this is the final Windows device that I want. You may not necessarily be happy with what you get. I hope I'm wrong, but you may not be. The number one reason I say that is because you boot up a Steam Deck, it boots into a console-like experience. The minute you boot it up, right? You boot up this ROG Ally, the first thing you see is full-fledged fat with bloatware windows, right? It's up to you to configure the front-end UI. It's up to you to remove the bloatware. And of course, Windows
Craig
being
is
Windows,
loving you
they
right
don't...
now. Okay.
Stop it.
Windows
Windows being Windows, they never calibrate it. They never modify Windows. Like, I'm enjoying this because I'm going to go in the background and go, okay, I don't need exchange services for email. That's turned off. I don't need print spooler services. That's turned off. These are all things that by default are running on Windows. So when you say, oh, we're giving you the fat full Windows, you're giving people bloatware. It should be configured for the device you're using, and they never do, right?
Right. So to you,
yeah.
and I think maybe a lot of people, are you kind of leaning on the side that Windows OS is actually a negative when it comes to this device versus like the Steam OS?
No, I don't think Windows is a negative at all. I just think you should know what you're getting yourself into. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you don't. I mean, I guess I kind of would think maybe. I guess it's hard to say. Like, the people who are getting this device, are they going to be tinkerers, or are they going to be kind of like
That's
people
the
like
point.
Boom who just want to get right
Exactly.
into Windows, get right into the
Exactly.
launchers, and go.
Perfect analogy. I have said this to Boom many times, and if you're out there, Boom, I'm saying
What's
it
up, Boom? Love
publicly
it.
as well. If you're out there, like, he's a non-tinkerer, wants a Windows Xbox extension.
Yes.
This is not that device for you, man. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think this is a device for you, because you have to tinker a lot with this thing in order for it to even be that thing, right? So that's where I'm like, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to what they do, but just the idea that it boots you into Windows, and the first thing you see when you see the start menu is something like Candy Crush. So then it's up to you to go and uninstall all that, as you do with standard Windows. I'm just like, they've already lost the thread here. Like,
I don't know. Let me push back.
Yeah,
Let's
please,
go,
push
rebuttal.
back.
Hell yeah, push
yes.
back. I hear it.
Look, yes, the console gamer that jumps into this thinking is going to be like, streamlined. It may not be quite as streamlined as they expected it to be, but it ain't. We ain't talking about everybody's grandma and grandpa here. Like, oh,
Sure.
How do I?
Right.
No, like, everyone knows how to use Windows. Uninstall that Candy Crush.
Sure.
Install the Xbox app, and there you go. Like.
See, no, but I'm not
Steam
talking
app.
about everybody, right? I'm not talking about everybody. Like, and you and I both are on the same page there.
But also, like,
it's not difficult.
The kind of person that's going to spend $700 on this device is the kind of person that at least knows, okay, I'm going to have to. It's not quite exactly me booting up into the PS5 or the Xbox UI. It's going to be a bit
Except
more.
for Boom.
See, RHETRI knows what I'm talking about.
Right?
RHETRI
That's
knows
why
what I'm talking about.
that's why I saw you smiling, Kate, because I know what you were thinking.
RHETRI knows what I'm talking about, right?
I mean, but
Like,
I mean, I kind of do agree with
he's in
SloMo
that
though.
age,
I think the oh, don't go there. I kind of agree. I do kind of agree with SloMo. Right, but I think the majority, right? If you're worried about the 1%, which I think would probably, I kind of agree with SloMo, which would probably be boom.
Those
in
who
my
want
opinion,
to buy this thing know what to do with this thing.
right?
That's
That's
Hey,
kind of what I'm
RHETRI,
getting
right?
at.
RHETRI, read that chat out.
Enigmatic Dream, stop the PC talk. You're boring, Rand. I'm sorry, Rand. Rand, you got anything to say on this? Do handhelds even interest you at all? Like, what's your take on this this new device that's coming out?
Handhelds do not interest me at all.
Fair enough.
I think it's interesting that Microsoft is heavily partnering with them. I think that's the most interesting aspect of it for me. But like the idea of getting one of the FOMO had me for like 4 seconds. Like they announced it and I was on Best Buy's website and I'm like hovering over pre-order for 4 seconds and I remembered exactly who I am. I'm like, I ain't gonna use this thing. It's like yeah, $700, okay. And then I thought to myself, am I actually ever going to use this thing for anything? And I was just like, no, like I'm never going to.
So you don't like go on the phone when you're like after you've gamed for 6 hours and then you go to bed and you sit in the bed and you game for another couple hours. You don't do that on the phone at all.
No,
You're not that?
okay. I don't do that. I
Probably reads a book.
That's right. He's reading.
I actually don't
Files,
read in bed. When I go to bed, it's
bedtime?
It's for bedtime.
Okay.
So no, I just
he's disciplined. I like that.
I just don't have any interest in this. I do think it's very it's kind of cool that handheld gaming's been on the come up again.
Resurgence. Yeah.
Right. Even though it's not for me. But my friends SloMo and Asante, they're loving it. I got other people that enjoy the options that handheld gaming provide. So I was like, yeah, that's really cool. The Switch was incredibly successful. Switch 2 probably be incredibly successful. Steam Deck, everybody talks about it. You have all these other devices like the Logitech G Cloud, some other cloud stuff, and now you have this one, which is like a Steam Deck competitor. And you're like, okay, this is, there was a time where it was like it really seemed like handheld gaming was dead, wasn't there? It really felt like that for
sure.
a while. Handheld gaming was dead, and now it seems like it's a resurgence. So much so that gamers are demanding PlayStation make one, and according to Tom Henderson, they kind of are. They're making some sort of remote play device that's supposed to come out this year.
Are you talking about the $100 device or something like that? Like that plays to the cloud that connects to the TV?
PlayStation,
basically the backbone.
yeah,
like
PlayStation and $100. No, that thing will be $250.
There you go.
Good
There
point.
you go.
Good
That does
point,
not
Rand.
happen.
Yeah. So the question is like, okay, Microsoft has all this stuff. They got Game Pass. It'd be good for mobile. People have asked for Microsoft to actually make their own handheld, and even if they do, I'm sure it would be cloud gaming, cloud only, because they're not going to make another bespoke device and have developers actually have to make three versions of their game. Right.
You know what, Rand? Let me throw a different wrench into that work, okay?
Okay.
I actually think some of us, and I count myself among the whole handheld craze. I enjoy a handheld device. I don't want Microsoft to make their own handheld. I just want them to give me that Xbox UI, but in the App Store, so I can go download it onto any other machine that happens to come out. Right? For those who want that Xbox on the go, I want them to see that, hey, Asus is involved in there now. You got people crazy like me installing Windows on Steam Decks. I'm sure there are other devices in the wings that are going to have Windows. You, Microsoft, people love the Windows side of it, not because of Windows, but because of Game Pass. So create a front end that makes Game Pass easy to use and accessible on any of these devices. That's the goal. That's the dream.
I mean, I got to throw it out there. And I don't know how good this is because I've heard from the early reports this is very hit and miss. Isn't that kind of what Asus just did with adding the software that just launches all the launchers into one area?
That's the thing. It's the wrong master. Asus is not the master you want, man. They are not the ones to take you to the promised land, sir. We appreciate their hardware.
Do you think Windows is? Well, Microsoft is? 'Cause I'm not.
Is.
I don't know.
Yes, because they've done it before, right? For my old gray beards out there, there used to be a time where some of us would literally plug our TVs in our living room. Why? Because Microsoft had the Media Center UI. You turn it on and there'd be a big old Media Center UI. And it was all about letting you play your Netflix style stuff before Netflix existed. And they had that. We just want exactly that, but for games. And I may do it on the deck, or you may do it on the ROG Ally, or an Aya Neo device, or an XO player, or whatever all these devices are. If you happen to run Windows, hey, chances are you want the mobile Xbox thing, right? And, and I agree with you, Rand. They have no reason to build one when all their partners are filling that gap for them. Just create a UI that makes it easy to access this stuff, because the ROG Ally's UI is not it. It'll give you access to things, but people are already complaining it's crashing and bugging up all over the place. If there's one thing that Microsoft can do well, it's software when they work at it over and over and over and over again. So give us a UI that can be used.
I also don't want to be doom and gloom, but I think it would be wrong of me to not talk about some recent things that are going on with Asus right now.
With Asus, go ahead, man.
Yeah,
Asus, and like I think this is relevant because this device is hardware that they're creating, and Asus right now is kind of screwing over people who bought hardware that they have created. So I know this is more PC related, but still within the same realm. They have been known to make some awesome motherboards over the years. And recently, it seems as if they are resting on their laurels when it comes to that, because they've come out with a few motherboards that are compatible with Ryzen CPUs that have been essentially destroying the CPU. Like they're overvolting the CPUs. This has been brought to their attention, and they have directed people with these motherboards to try a beta firmware version of that motherboard that would, at the same time they implemented it, would void their own warranty. So imagine that for a moment. Like, they messed up the motherboard. They're telling you, here's the solution, but if you use that solution, your warranty is voided. So if anything else happens, we're not held liable for that. It's really terrible customer service.
Remember, Slo? I had this conversation with you and a few others before this thing was officially revealed. Asus is not the company to support this thing, to put your faith in from a support capacity, because they don't have that track record. And they themselves are showing that right now.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying that like the Ally has a problem, or it could have no problems whatsoever. But let's say there is a more a standard issue with a significant number of Ally handhelds
down the line.
Down the line, like you need to understand that like when it comes to potentially fixing that issue. You're probably going to be SOL.
Not even fixing. Fixing is one thing, but games are a dynamic nature, and for the 3, 4, 5 years that this thing is like within the zeitgeist and is considered a mainline piece of hardware, there may be stuff that comes out that needs tweaking, right? And Valve is releasing updates on a weekly. Like you, SloMo, you've heard me say that, and you've called me a Valve shill. But that's part of this hardware, right? Something new comes out,
I didn't
you got to
call
adapt.
you a Valve shield, but your bank account does seem very fat, sir. Like you
but
bought
it's
that
true.
4090 pretty quickly. I wonder where the money came from. That's all.
It actually came from my E3 budget that I had to repurpose after my heart was broken.
Oh no!
It came from my E3 budget.
That
yes,
hurts.
but no, but that's my point. When I first bought into one of those devices, it was like, oh well, it's a PC. You go off, you do your PC stuff. If anything happens, then anything happens. Now that I sit here a year and a half later after owning it, that support is far more useful than when you first start that thing, right?
Yeah.
And much like other hardware now, it has a lot more, not only does it have fixes, but more capabilities that they didn't have when you first signed the dotted line and bought the thing. I am not confident at Asus's willingness to look at this
Long
hardware and
term.
go, this is our exactly. They'll quick. I bet next year, 6 months from now, you're going to see the Ally 2, and then 6 months again the Ally 3, because they only get their hit when you buy new hardware, which it shouldn't be a big deal as long as they support that old hardware like fully. I'm just concerned about that.
Yeah, which
but
is part of the reason why I chose to cancel my pre-order. So like I got hit with the bug like everyone else did. Like, oh man, like it's up on Best Buy right now. Let me see what's going on. I just
and by the way,
and then you look and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm
with the Best Buy code
are still up.
With the Best Buy code, it drops it by $70, which then makes it cheaper than even the most expensive Steam Deck.
Yeah. And I'm hitting, I'm just hovering over pre-order. I'm like, hey, I just want to see if I can actually get one if I wanted one. I don't really want one, but I just want to see. And then next thing I know, I hit the board. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh man, did I just pre-order this? So I had it, and I'm like, well, okay. Am I going to use this? Because I'm thinking about, well, look, do I use my Steam Deck? Not really. Like I used it for a little while. I got into it for a while, and then Forte didn't have to talk me all. Ask Forte.
why isn't
him off the
Forte on the
edge.
show? Why isn't Forte here? So we could basically have DPS podcast going.
I'm pretty sure he's out somewhere damage controlling for Tears of the Kingdom again. He's been doing that all week. So but no, I didn't need to be talked off the edge. I was already hovering over the cancel button. I was just like, should I buy this or should I just get a new CPU and motherboard? And he was just like, dude, get a new CPU and motherboard. I was like, you're right. But I was already, like mentally there. I'm like, I'm not going to use this. And I'm like, spending $700 on something that I'm barely going to use seems like a waste of money. So I play primarily my games on PC. Unfortunately, these developers feel like they just don't want to optimize games on PC no more.
Yeah, SloMo, what's up with that? Why are all these PC ports suddenly just been shit? What's going on, bro?
It's a combination of two things, and Kay can kind of back me up on this. It's a combination of DX12 and Unreal Engine. So there's some things where
Infinite is rolling over in his grave right now. Go ahead.
Well, he's not dead.
Hey man,
he is now. You just killed him.
It's a lot of these games that are like having the most issues are Unreal Engine games, and they're also like using the DX12 on PC, and there are some like the shader cache compilation issue. When DX11 wasn't a problem.
There he is.
The way DX11 could compile all the shaders was fine, and developers kind of felt initially, now they know the deal now that would be the same thing on DX12, but DX12 does not catch all the shaders. So now like the way they do QA testing has to be different. They need to QA test literally every single generation of every single GPU in order to make sure that they get all shaders compiled correctly, so that it's not something that we're seeing on on launch day when you launch the game and it's just a stutter mess, as you're playing through the game. There's a PSO issue with Unreal Engine as well, and some of these problems, some of the Unreal Engine 4 issues that like say Redfall has, or like say Gotham Knights had, were things that actually developers have already had workarounds for, but they just were implemented by WB Montreal and Arcane Austin for whatever reason. But Unreal Engine 5 has got some of these same issues that still haven't had like an answer to yet. So it's just when you see these two games together, man.
Not to devolve, man, but this is why some of us see the greatness that is Unreal, and we say, as great as it is, all we see is one single point of failure, right? Seriously.
Yeah.
It's a single point of failure. Why should everybody use just one single point of failure when shader compilation stutter becomes a problem?
Here's my question.
Game, it becomes a problem everywhere.
Are these games in UE5 or no? Because I think they're all in
some UE5s have also had a problem.
Whatever.
If I'm not mistaken,
just saying,
and I'll look it up real quick and correct myself. But if I'm not mistaken, what do you call it? What the heck is the name of it? Jedi Survivor is UE5.
Yes, it is.
Is it
also
fully
have-
UE5 or is it?
Wait,
is it
no,
just
I
the?
think Survivor's UE4.
Yeah,
I
there
thought-
has not
see, I
been a
don't think it's
UE5
5.
game released for
Thank
console
you.
yet. Fortnite's
Right,
the only
there is
one.
now.
Okay.
Hey,
I
guys,
think
with
there
that-
might.
with that,
I think there's parts of the game that might be UE5, like menu wise, but that's it.
Okay,
But the
guys.
actual
With
game
that
are
said,
4, okay.
I'm not trying to
But-
derail
but-
the show, but I just want to make sure. I think we have over 101 people in
What's
the chat
up?
right now.
What's going on,
excellent,
guys?
excellent.
Thank you all
Hit that like
so
button.
much for being here. We appreciate
you,
each
Rand.
and every one of you. Some
Oh, that's not. They're
amazing
here
people.
for Asante. You know.
Please.
No, I meant thank you for telling him to hit the like button because we always forget.
Tomo,
Yes.
Asante, and Randall Thor19, all of you are legends, and every single one of you, we appreciate you all here.
Is this the
very
highest
much.
number you had concurrent?
This is.
We
Yes, it
just
is.
broke our record.
Breaking
Yes,
records.
we did.
I
Yes, we
know
are.
it.
Left
I
and
know it.
right.
I know it.
Let's
So
go.
anyway,
Let's
thank you all
go.
so much for being here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and if you got a question for us, jump in. We're going to change subjects here in just a few minutes as we kind of get to wrap this part up, so we can go on because I know Rand's bored out of his mind. I'm just kidding.
PC gaming. Yeah. You know, it's interesting the fact that there hasn't been a UE5 game released on console yet, and I wonder if like that's one of the reasons for why there's been a lot of delayed games.
Well, yeah. I mean, the full
think about it,
version
like-
didn't come out till last year. I mean,
Yeah, like,
April of last year. So
It's like 2023, and I'm not even sure when the first UE5 game's supposed to even release. I mean, Hellblade 2
Hellblade,
is UE5,
probably
maybe.
Hellblade.
Well,
But is that
Fortnite
coming this
one.
year?
So Fortnite is a UE5 game.
Well, it
that's-
is, but I mean,
yes,
it's
that's
Epic,
true.
so I mean, like, it's their
Right.
game. So
that is
of course-
true.
The sad thing
it's just
is that
it's just
the
this
whole-
weird
the
thing
whole-
where you look at it and it's like you got all these UE5
here you
games
go.
that are coming,
Or Master
but it's
Jasper.
it's like it's like
And this game
you know-
looks baller too. I didn't realize this was fully UE5. So Lord Master Jasper saying Immortals of Avium comes out July 20th and is UE5, and that game looks so good. So there you go. I guess we'll find out real soon, right?
yeah.
See
Everybody
if it's
thought
buggy.
everybody thought Redfall was UE5, and then they were like,
Now
no,
it's 4.26.
UE4.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of people, we did think it was 5, and then they were like, nope. I'm like, oh, okay. But I don't think that was
Looks
just
like
the
it
start of
actually
that
looks like
problem.
UE3, but whatever.
Slander on the Red Falls. I'm the only person who loves it. That's fine. Or likes it strongly.
But you know, to kind of not harp on the whole topic, but like, I mean, even clearly, like, this is something that Epic is trying to find its way around. Even their own game, that is, they're really their showcase for Unreal Engine 5, has the same issues of shader cast compilation, stutter, and Fortnite. If anyone who has Fortnite installed on their PC, let there be an update happens. You already know what's going to happen. Two things are going to happen.
Yep. I know exactly
You're
where
going to be in the
you're going.
menu, and your character is going to be doing their little dances. You're going to have Darth Maul doing the Dougie, and he's going to be stuttering doing the Dougie, okay? You're going to get into the game, and it's going to take
Lord.
forever. You won't even be in the holding area in the lobby. You're just going to, like, as soon as the game starts, you're going to be floating in the sky because it's just going to take you that long to get into the game with the way it goes the first time through. So, yeah,
You're right. You're
Unreal
not
Engine's
wrong.
got some issues. Sorry, Infinite.
Yeah.
Hey, Retri, read that chat out.
Hargy, Shawnee, he's facts. I'm here for Asante. Screw the rest of you. I just added that last part.
Yes.
He is a celebrity, man. He was in the Halo TV show. You know, it's
That's right.
Stop it,
can't beat
Slomo.
that, man.
Stop it, Slomo. We know you're famous for slapping Sonic. Where's that emoji? We want to see that one.
Oh, I can roll with that one. Pull that one.
Well, I just bring it back to the Asus. Some positives, not
Quickly.
to crap all over Asus, whatever the hell the name of the company is. We
Asus.
know Asus. We know the battery life isn't quite as good, but you're getting those extra frames. So if you're, let's say if you're a frame whore, like, yeah, this would probably be the one for you because it's definitely beating out the Steam Deck in every aspect except for like low power modes, which is what I just don't think anyone who would be buying this device would be doing it. But I think everyone brought up great points in like the longevity of this company and backing you up. Like, definitely the trust is not there. Another thing to point out that I made a video on that The Verge pointed out was that his device had the ABXY button sticking underneath the plastic. Now they said this was fixed going out for your normal, for everyone who's going to be buying it. But do you want to be the guinea pig and find? Because if it sticks, you're done. Like, that device is just a puck. It's useless. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be the guinea pig, a $700 guinea pig, to find out that there's still some QA issues going on with this device. So, my suggestion is to at least wait if you are interested in this and let everyone else have the first generation faults, and maybe they'll fix it and move on. But and there's been some software issues that people are talking about too, with launchers and just weird UI things going on the screen itself. But it's interesting. I think it looks like it certainly looks like a beautiful device, at least in my opinion. I know Jez was talking shit about it. He did not like the look of it. But it's not for everybody. But I think it's great to have more competition out there. That's what we needed. More handhelds out there, the better, I think. Maybe it'll drive prices down. Who knows? Or people will just buy the Steam Deck, which is also fine. But we are going to move on to the next subject. The next subject, also roundtable, whatever you guys want to talk about in regards to this. You can chime in and talk over people. I don't care. And we are talking the Xbox Games Showcase coming June 11th. We're going to kind of go into what we think will be there, kind of like the obvious stuff, and then kind of go a little, tinfoil hat crazy and what you think could possibly show up, because Phil did say during the XCast when he was just interviewed that there's possibility of them showing some games we haven't seen before. So, guys, I'm going to leave it open. What do you think will be shown at the Xbox Showcase? Anyone can go. Fire off at will.
I want to see games that aren't going to just be showing up in the next 12 months. That whole thing needs to die. I better not see beautiful Sarah Bond walk out there and go, guys, the games you're going to see today, after she starts off like that, I'm going to be like, no, don't say it, Sarah, because, like, come on, you got to show us a little bit more than that, and especially don't want to pigeonhole yourself into the scenario where, like, people are expecting these games to show up within a certain time period, and then, like, say all of your games, 2/3 of your games don't. That's problematic. So I'm hoping that I don't hear that from them. But what I do expect to see is Hellblade 2 gameplay, because I think we are long overdue. And from what I've seen from Ninja Theory, it's been amazing. The facial recognition, their mocap. They got their own in-house mocap that they've had since before they were acquired, and it's amazing. And their advancements with Unreal Engine, shout out to Infinite, I know you love that. Has been so good that they're showing. Epic is trotting them out there for their GDC to be, hey, like, look what you can do with Unreal Engine. That said, I want to see game play. I want to see Senua chopping somebody in half. I want to see the advancements in the combat from the previous game. Although I do think the combat in the previous game was pretty good. It was very shallow. There were like 3 different types of enemies. There really wasn't too much variation in how you attack people. You only had one weapon, that one sword. I want to see a lot more. And we seemed to, like, from what we saw, where she was throwing the spear at some ugly looking monster baby thing, that, like, more than likely she's going to
monster baby looking thing. I love it.
You're right, but it's just like, show me why I should be excited for this. So that's definitely the main thing for me that I want to see.
Okay, so you're like heavy on Hellblade. Do you think anything else is guaranteed to be there outside of Hellblade?
I would say probably Fable. Fable is actually my most anticipated Xbox first party game. Fable 2, I love Fable 2. Fable 1, I really enjoyed. Fable 3, I thought was forgetful, but Fable 2, loved. I played that game through so many times on the 360, and I think that considering that Matt Booty said he wanted to show it at Gamescom last year, more than likely it's probably ready to be shown at the showcase this year. So I fully expect to see that too.
Fair enough, guys. Rand, come on. Give us some insider.
I'm trying to be nice. I want to hear what Asante has to say.
I just want to hear insider info.
Rand probably knows, but Rand does this thing. He's like, well, I think
he pretends
he knows minute by minute what's going to happen.
Yeah, he knows exactly what's.
No. I don't know. I don't know what's at the show. I know a few games at the show because Jez knows.
There you go.
Right.
So,
what do you expect? What do you expect to see?
See, but now that I've said it, that I know a couple that people are going to say, like, well, if whatever I say, they're going to be like, oh my God. I mean, Jez has said that he's pretty sure that the 12-month thing is gone.
Thank
Yeah,
goodness.
simply based
I
on
agree.
the games that he knows that are there that he thought would be further out. So
Right.
yeah, I don't believe they'll do the 12-month things again because I think that, I mean, let's be honest, they did it because they had to.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
they delayed
Yep.
Starfield and Redfall, and like was like, oh, what are we gonna do? We'll try to turn that into a win, and it was like, oh, all you know, everything you see now, you can play in 12 months, and it didn't turn. I mean, I think if you actually look at the list, I think they got like 80% of the games like launched before then, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it was like not their own games, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like
true,
Starfield
true.
and Forza were later, so I don't think they'll do that again, which makes it a little bit more interesting because they can't use Starfield and Redfall for the third year in a row, right? They either opened or closed with either of those two, and Redfall's out, and they're probably never going to talk about that game again.
Never to be seen again. Yeah.
And Starfield
Bury it.
has its own 30-minute show afterwards, so it's like,
Right.
all right, we have something new we can start with. We have something new that we can close with. I also kind of been thinking like, oh well, this one's called the Xbox Game Showcase. Does that imply Bethesda's not going to be there at all? Right? Because last 2 years have been Xbox and Bethesda.
Right.
This year it's just Xbox. So are they combining them and like we just want everything to be Xbox now, or does it imply that Pete Hines isn't going to be on stage telling us about Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76 for the third year in a row, boring everybody to tears? I don't know.
That's a good point.
I mean, because there are games like ZeniMax Online. They've been working
Right.
on their new game for like 4 or 5 years now. Id's obviously working on something new. Indiana Jones has been announced for Machine Games. I would love to see that. I mean, that movie's also coming out this
Right.
June. Maybe there could be some synergy where you announce like the game and show the game off, and then the movie. Like there's some sort of corporate synergy you could do there, but maybe not. But as for games, I'm with SloMo. I need to say Hellblade 2. It's my most anticipated game by any of their first parties. I love the first game so much. I mean, I'm 50-50 on it coming this holiday. It would be great. I think ABK
That was my
getting
next question.
I think ABK getting blocked really changed a lot of Microsoft's plans because I think they were planning on Diablo coming to Game Pass, maybe even Call
Right.
of Duty, all the other Call of Duty games where it was like that's Plan A. Well, maybe no more Plan A, so it's like it could be Plan B. Maybe Hellblade makes it this fall because we figure Forza will be there, right? Because it's gonna be like, all right,
Absolutely.
it's coming out in October. But other than that, it's like I expect to see Hellblade. I expect to see Avowed. Because you guys heard the story that like Avowed was supposed to be shown at 2021, and there was like a snafu with marketing, and I guess like they sent them the trailer for Outer Worlds 2 instead. And I would imagine Avowed is launching next year, so I would think we would see it again. Because there's a lot of games that they revealed in 2020 that need to be seen again.
They're looking at several of them.
Yeah,
right
like,
here.
and there's even some, like Phil says, some unannounced games like Compulsion and Project Midnight. I would assume is got to be ready to release. I would not be surprised if we see it again, or we see it for the first time. Then you have like even some of the partner projects, like there's Wandering Tower, which is I forget the project name, but this game by Stoic. The people did Banner Saga. They're making an Xbox exclusive. I think that will. I feel pretty confident that game will be there. I think that game is launching next year, so I think you'll see that. And I'm kind of with SloMo. I feel like Fable's going to be there, and I would not be surprised if Fable closes the show. As kind of like, oh, you didn't think you were going to see this. Here's Playground Studios game. Here's Fable. Although maybe closing the show is too much considering they already closed the show once. I don't know. Maybe cool if they opened the show with Fable. That would be very interesting.
Hell yes.
And like there's like, is Contraband going to be there? Like my whole thing is that I want them to be like, all right, tell me what's coming next year, because I think they really need to be like, all right, this is. Wash the bad taste out of your mouth about Redfall. That's just a one-off. That's just a road bump, right? Like, look at all the stuff, great stuff that's coming to Xbox. These games look killer. You got Hellblade coming this year. You got Forza and Starfield. Next year, we're going to bring you Avowed and Compulsion's game and Contraband and whatever else. But then I think also you can go a little bit further out. Like, You can go Fable. You can go, maybe IO's game that they're hiring for, Project Fantasy. There were rumors that might be partnered with Xbox or what have you. There's a lot of different ways you could take it. I do agree with SloMo that I would much rather see gameplay. I think they're going to learn a lesson from the whole Redfall shit of presenting a game on PC at 60 frames but not saying that. So, and then everybody thinking it's 60 frames, and then you get the gut punch that, oh, actually, we couldn't deliver 60 frames on console at launch. So I think they'll be very...
careful.
I think they'll probably take a page from PlayStation's book where, when PlayStation shows a game, they'll say in the bottom, like, captured on PS5 or, captured on PC or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of those, like, nomenclature used to basically avoid a Redfall situation down the road, because I really do think that has shook up a lot of internal things happening in the Xbox. I think they want to avoid that scenario in the future, so they'll be much more upfront about, hey, this is on PC, this is on Xbox, this is gameplay, this is CGI, this is an engine, just to basically kind of remove any doubt of like, okay, and I think that would be good, because then you always have like the discussions online about, is that what the game going to look like, or is it is it the game, or is it an engine, or is it CGI? So you can sort of end those conversations, and then
and Phil alluded to that too during the XCast interview as well. He apologized right there for showing Redfall 60 frames per second on PC. So there was a big question mark, like, okay, so in the future, are we going to be showing Series X footage and saying that it's Series X footage? Which I agree with you, Rand. I think they are going to do that just so they don't get the backlash.
Yeah, and I think it's just like, if it's on PC, say it. Like, this is captured on PC. Like, I don't think people get too upset when they see that and they're like, well, what's it going to look on Series X? They just want to see some games, as long as you have some gameplay for some stuff. And I'm not against like the idea of like showing me a CGI trailer for a game that you announced for the very first time, like Project Midnight from Compulsion. If you need to show that as a CGI trailer, I'd be okay, because it's the first time. I usually give the exception for the first time you show a game off. Like, I don't mind that it's CGI in nature.
I agree. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, but I think there's
nothing wrong with that. Like you want to get excited for the future too. Like we want to. I personally look, the 12-month thing. I think it was like, we know why they probably did it. It was a mistake, but you want, like, I got excited when we saw Fable CGI. I got excited when we saw this Avowed. None of this is probably gameplay, so I'm okay with getting the CGI stuff as well. So go ahead.
Yeah, geez, I kind of just lost my train of thought. But I think like it's okay. There's probably going to be a lot more heavily in place importance on this show, based around the last like month or so of what's been happening at Xbox about the deal getting blocked and Redfall being a disaster. A lot of people being down on Xbox and not confident that they can actually make games, because that's the thing, right? Like, can they even make any games? It'd be good. So I think a lot of people will be like, I've already seen some people say this is make or break.
Yeah,
like, either this will somehow, if it's bad, it'll destroy the brand, or if it's great, it'll redeem it. And it's like, people have been saying that since 2016.
Exactly.
Like, when Xbox One was in the doldrums and was releasing Super Lucky's Tale and Halo Wars 2 and shit, right? So people, and I also do think this one will be judged harshly because the PlayStation Showcase will be coming beforehand. So a lot of people will be judging the show not on the merits of the show itself and what Xbox is doing in the games they show, but in a console war comparison to a PlayStation Showcase, which is rumored to be happening basically next week, right?
Yeah.
So Sony's going to jump them on this. That show will probably be really good because they do have a lot of things to show. So when Xbox actually shows something, a lot of people will be like, well, it was cool, but it wasn't as good as PlayStation. So it's kind of a little detrimental to that you're just doing your show afterwards, because people, it's just human nature to compare things to other things, right? and for a lot of people, it just doesn't. It won't compare as good. So I would be, you probably see a lot of takes online about like, well, it was fine, but it wasn't good as PlayStation's or what have you, or PlayStation sucked, but Xbox's was better. That's kind of how the console war works on Twitter. As far as like, I guess maybe games I'm not expecting Everwild. I know you have it on screen here. I don't think we'll see Everwild. Yep. I don't think we'll see State of Decay 3. I guess
really?
That's possible. I don't see, but the thing is, it's like I don't know. I don't know when those games are all supposed to come out, and like Perfect Dark. I would love to see Perfect Dark, but it's like,
yeah, I don't see that one.
Are they ready? Is Crystal ready to show it? I don't know. But Asante, what do you think, bro?
Yeah, jump on in.
Honestly, like I'm really enjoying listening to what you think is going to happen this time, because I don't have one specific dog in the fight here. I just need them to come out because the thing that's super interesting that most people didn't anticipate, right? The idea was, oh, they're gonna get this whole ABK thing passed, and they're gonna go into E3, the E3 season with confidence, right? Mm-hmm. And that hasn't happened right now, right? And worse than that, they're now in damage control mode based on Redfall. So we originally were like, oh, well, one way or another, come this time when the ABK thing is behind us, you'll see Sony come out with a killer show to basically solidify nothing to see here. We're still the great place to play. That's what we're expecting, right? So now that same thing is basically a motivating factor for Xbox. Hey, whether ABK goes through or doesn't go through, this is the place you want to be, so they need to exude confidence. That's what I'm excited to see. I want to see what they do with that, because multiple times now, right, in showcases in the past, we've heard, well, they were going to show this, but this happened. Well, they're going to show that, but this happened, right? But here we are. You have a few strings of bad news, right? For whether it's true or it's not, the perception is, they're treating console players as second-class citizens. Oh, and they don't know how to close and create a AAA game. Where are all their first-party blah 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 blah? There's a lot of perception that's dogging them right now, right? So I want to see the new code names officially announced, right? People have been using the same parlance over and over and over again since 2019, some of them, right? Some of these code names that we have heard disseminated by the other half of the Xbox 2 or Jeff Grubb or someone like that, right? We keep hearing these code names that just keep regurgitating, and you don't actually get full details on them. So the hype builds around them and potentially gives you another Redfall situation where it may be a AA situation, but people keep filling in the gaps that Microsoft themselves will not fill, right? So I want to come into this showcase with new things that I didn't know were there before. I'm a huge fan of Fable. I want to see it. Crystal Dynamics, their inclusion into the Perfect Dark scenario made me even more excited for the project. So I'm hoping to see that. I see you see Machine Games on here. I am one who's still looking for the next or maybe last iteration of the Wolfenstein series. There's a third one that's still looming that we're waiting for. I want to see those things. But more than anything, I want to see a confident Microsoft. I want to see them come out and, you want to see us really, blow you back and give you that sense of there's nothing to see here, there's nothing to worry about here. Well, here's this, here's that, here's this, here's that. Let's completely, throw away that narrative that all it takes is one bad game and then everybody's buckling and the brand is about to die tomorrow, right? Clearly, that's not the truth. I want them to make answer of that. I want them to set a new benchmark. I want to see the coalition, damn it. And actually, you know what? I want to see the coalition, and I don't want to see them in a Gears context.
Well, you probably will, if they do show up, probably will be.
Not that I don't love Gears. I do love Gears. But I am enjoying the fact that these studios that are known for one thing are being allowed to do that other thing. Redfall notwithstanding, right? I want that more of them to do that. Because that's where you get your hi-fi rushes, right? You allow them to go off the beaten path and do something interesting. There was that conversation that the coalition was doing something, and then there was a rumor that maybe it was no longer the case. I want more of that to come out, because then you find some nuggets that you didn't know you wanted. Not everything has to be, well, they are the Call of Duty machine. Well, these are the Gears machine. No, let them do something different.
Absolutely.
All in all, I'll stop rambling. All in all, I just want them to turn the page on what has been a very bad episode for them, right? I want them to show that the $2, sometimes $3 trillion company can walk and chew gum at the same time. That's all I want.
I love you going with the coalition and showing something outside of Gears, although I'm pretty sure it will be Gears.
Yeah.
And we know, like, the rumors of them, they had 2 projects that were supposedly canceled. Maybe they weren't canceled. Maybe it's just kind of a hiatus, and
Maybe
Gears got put to the forefront, which makes a lot of sense. Who knows? We don't know what those smaller things are. We don't know if the Marcus Phoenix collection is going to see the light of day. I still think it is. He did say collections. Yeah, Boom definitely.
I love it.
He picked that word right out of there, and I was like,
love it
that's
when
a good point.
They start doing the same forensics they've done on the shelf. Now they're doing it to his wordplay. When he typed in something on Twitter, he left an extra space. They were like, "What's that space going to be filled with?" I'm like, "It's being filled with the word handheld." There you go. How about that backwards there for your tinfoil hat theories? I love it. It's so good. I hope it comes together this year. It needs to come together this year. And if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Calm down. But I want it to come together this year. They deserve it. It's about damn time,
Yeah, I think it will come together this year. I think they just have so much to show. The show should be amazing, really. I mean, I definitely agree with you guys. Hellblade 2 just seems obvious because it's either probably coming out this November or early 2024. We'll obviously see Forza because that's probably coming out in October, and
so
I imagine
question on Senua Saga is, if we think it's 2024 early, right? Which there is rumors it could be December, late Christmas, right? But let's assume it's 2024 early. Do you not think then it would be another shoe-in at the Keeleys, because that's where it started? That's where they give you, quote unquote, the final trailer, if you will, if it's releasing, let's say, February.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a possibility. Yeah,
well, that's that I'm thinking is February, but yeah, I mean that's a good point too with the Keeleys. But
just a thought.
I mean, I don't know. Everybody thought they were gonna have some at the Keeleys this past year, and they didn't.
Right, that's very true.
That's true. Yeah.
Right, and of course,
but you know what, then, Rand?
Hopefully
they should have the courage of their convictions and continue to not be at the Keeleys. Because if you have a reason for not being there, do not change your mood just because a bunch of crybabies just went, you know what I mean? You have your reason. Stick to it. As long as it comes out to something good, that's all that people ultimately care about. Don't just go turn tail between your legs back to the Keeleys the next year because a bunch of know-nothings and blowhards are crying about it. Come on, Have some courage in your conviction.
They also showed the first trailer for Perfect Dark.
Yes,
maybe this year they showed the second trailer for Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines, or what have you. I don't know.
Yep,
who knows?
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess it depends on when Hellblade 2 is ready. Is it ready for this fall, or is it do we need
I think it is ready.
Do we need it for early next year?
That's what I'm wondering. I think it might be a little bit of strategy. It's all over the place because Redfall didn't hit, and the ABK thing didn't happen yet. So I think Rand was on something that might have screwed things up. So I think Hellblade was probably going to come February next year. Maybe it got moved up because of all the stuff that's going on. But I think it's ready. I mean, we've seen so much of it already, at least behind the scenes stuff. At least I have. Where I think it's pretty far along.
I don't know.
I mean, with the dev docs, nothing that hits the general public.
They did one dev doc. It's not like they've been doing 5 of them. They've done one.
They did one on audio. They did 2 different ones on their Iceland trips. They did, so they've done other stuff. They just weren't called dev docs. They were literally called something else.
I mean, isn't Melina Jurgensen still posting mocap photos on her Instagram page?
Yeah, but that could be Project Mara because I'm pretty sure she's in that as well.
I mean, I guess that's possible, because
you know what I mean. I could be wrong, but she looks like she's going to be in Project Mara as well because it's also psychological thriller, which goes right into what they're doing with Hellblade anyways. So I'm pretty sure she's going to be starring that, but that's a good point.
Well, if it turns out the game is going to miss
this year, and it's going to be early next year. Yeah, look. Are you really going to be bitter about Jeff Keighley forever, or are you going to take advantage of the fact that last year he had 113 million people live watching his show?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's 100, and that's
No,
way
you
more
can't.
people
I
than
agree.
you more than likely would be looking at strictly an Xbox show, or
Yeah.
even know that Hellblade 2 even exists. Like, put your game out there, forget Jeff Keighley, and promote your product, because that game, if it really hits, if it's really where everyone expects it to be, that's something that's going to get you way more Game Pass subscriptions than you really think. So
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I think I don't think that can be missed just because of the number of eyes. It literally surpassed the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big deal. So I think marketing wise, Xbox should be there, and I think they will be there. I just think it makes the most amount of sense. But I mean, we also got like Age 4 this year. So I mean, this year is eight first party games essentially, whether people believe that or not. If Age 4 comes out, Forza does, and everything else comes out when it's supposed to, Starfield, that's 8 first party titles. That's a lot. And which leads me to believe I personally think maybe Hellblade was pushed to 2024, but who the hell knows? But I definitely think Avowed is going to be a strong presence there. I'm thinking maybe it's a bookend. I don't know, but I think Avowed is coming sooner than later. I definitely think it's dropping next year. So I certainly expect to see it during the showcase. Hopefully, lots of gameplay. I think that's kind of the theme here, right? A lot of people it's gameplay for all the trailers that I'm basically showing right now. People want to, except for Everwild, obviously, but we'd like to see some Fable. You know what I mean? We'd like to see some Contraband. We'd like to see the new things too. And I guess we can get into that, guys. Is there anything weird
Hold on.
Go for it. Go ahead. Pull it back.
I gotta jump out now real quick. Hold on. Okay, so no offense, but I want to take my turn. So I'll say that I think that Fable should definitely make an appearance at this show, and I believe there'll be something along the lines with Fable. Don't necessarily know, whether it'll be actual gameplay or maybe a souped up, a new trailer that shows us at least more of what the game can be about. Maybe like the villages, the combat, that kind of thing. Hopefully it'll be gameplay, because that would be something they really need to show. We hear that rumor that it's ready, so I think that it definitely could be. Something else I want them to announce at this show would be the family plan. They really need to open up and just bring that. I think that is going to be. I mean, I'm sure they're holding that for some reason, but then now is when they need to. They really, really, really need to do that. We also have a poll set up right now. You guys can take it. Do you think that Starfield will be a 60 when it launches? It'll be a 60 FPS. That is in the chat. If you want to participate in a poll, jump on that. Also, want to welcome out over 150 people in the chat right now. Thank you all so much for being here. It is incredibly awesome. Retri, all you, buddy.
So Web Dave, I don't want to be that guy, but I think you should, when you put in the comments, will it be 60 frames? You should always say on console.
On console,
don't have to deal with such unfortunate issues.
Yeah, because there was some people go, it'll be 120 frames on console. It'll be 30
That's
or
right.
on a PC. And
you get all the hertz. Right.
Some of us don't have to deal with such trivial pursuits.
We're one percenters, I guess. I was just going to kind of go into craziness, essentially. Like, if there's anything, and this is totally spitball, anyone can chime in. If there's anything weird that you guys think could be shown, since
I want to do this a little different on this one. On this particular question, let's start with Rand's crazy predictions that he wants. Anything he wants. I know he's got his own show coming up, and I know he's got his actual predictions, but just whatever you feel like you want to throw out there, let's get the ball rolling, because not necessarily, because I know you won't give us any insight as to what Jez said, and we wouldn't want you to. But my point is,
well, I mean, I want him to, but that's fine.
Well, I know. You know what I'm saying. I want Rand to be Rand, is what I'm saying. So let's do it, baby.
I mean, I don't know. Like, what is a crazy prediction for E3? I mean,
It could be third party, new partnerships. It could literally be anything. I don't even care if you're like making a current Xbox studio work on something that no one saw coming. You know what I mean? It could be anything like that sort.
coming to
Yeah, that
Game
would
Pass
be
deals
crazy.
could
Final Fantasy
could be
7.
literally anything.
I was just
Jeez. Let
I
me
mean, we
think
can always
about
come
this.
back to you.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, we
let
can
me
come
Let me
back
think
to
about
you,
this
Rand.
for a minute.
If anybody got anything just weird, because we know, like Phil said during the interview, like basically we are going to see stuff and hear about stuff we have not heard.
Yeah,
or
but that
seen
doesn't
about.
necessarily mean it's crazy, though.
Well, right. Okay. Well, it doesn't. I
Crazy
guess it doesn't
prediction.
have to be
They
crazy.
announced that they bought Nintendo, and Tears of the Kingdom is now on Xbox Series X. Day one.
I guess it matters what your definition of crazy is, because that's insane to me.
So okay, so not a crazy prediction, and I don't expect it to happen, but what I want to happen.
there you go. That's
Yes,
good.
there we go.
Much like how they did in the 360 generation, I want them to finally come out and say they've heard them. And Phil has already said that, and we've already seen it in some of the insider programs, but I want them to go much further and go, okay, we've heard you, new UI for the Xbox. Like,
Oh, we know that's
actually
coming,
new
though.
UI. No, but actually new UI. Not, let's
not
tweak
moving
your
everything
Windows
down?
8 a little bit. Now we're bringing it a little lower. Oh, no.
Right.
We're throwing the entire language away and starting from scratch. Because they did that in the 360 gen, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
had
Remember the blades?
You had one,
beautiful.
and then it moved to another, right?
Yeah,
and it was a
lot.
completely different. It was a completely different visual language, and those of us in the Insider program, I know a couple people that are in the Insider program. Every single time we get the opportunity to tell them it's long in the tooth, we write paragraphs like, "Come on, people! It's old. It sucks now." This is a paradigm based off of Windows 8. Like, what are we doing right now? Move forward.
Let me push back on this. Is that an
Yes.
announcement for a game showcase, though?
True. Don't get me wrong, Rand. It's not an announcement specifically for a game showcase, but as Mr. Phil Spencer has already said in his previous interview, a game showcase tends to be one of those dog and pony shows. Look at all these crazy games we have. And Microsoft seems to be trying to lean on what makes them special. And what makes them special in the Xbox space tends to be features and services more than content itself, right? I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's a lot of content. I hope there's content that blows people back. But both of these platforms, and this is the dog and pony show of Xbox versus PlayStation, bring their own special sauce to bear that makes them different than the other. What does Sony does? They bring Hollywood to the gaming. That's why you get your Sad Dad simulators. That's why everything is so filmic, right? They bring Hollywood to games. What does Microsoft do? They bring tech to games. And that's where you get your, now you have your Play Anywhere. Now you have your
Quick Resume.
Your Quick Resume. Now you see what I'm saying? They have all of those. So while I do agree that the standards of the dog and pony show need to be continued to be adhered to, so the content is king, they should not use that separates them, which is those services and those features that people have come to grow and love on the Xbox side. I want to see more of that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I got
like
a
that.
crazy prediction
Let's
do it.
go.
that it absolutely won't happen. But hey, I'm throwing it out in the ether. Let's see what happens. We get Upload Studio 2.0. They announced it.
Please, whoever needs to be fired and let SloMoBackSlap lead that initiative, that needs to happen.
Oh, let's do that. Yeah. Hey man, let's do that.
That is the dumbest thing that they did. Getting rid of 1.0.
Xbox leadership.
Yes.
I can be that guy.
That is the dumbest thing they did. Killing that service.
You know.
Yes. Especially living in a world now where we're so show and tell, show Twitter, so this, so that, video, this and that, and then you kill your editing suite. And of course, your competitor. What does your competitor do? They make theirs better.
Yeah. What if the broken DVR on the Xbox Series consoles has remained broken all this time because they've been implementing Upload Studio 2.0 and was going to kind of incorporate some of those features in there. So they were just like, why bother fixing that when we're going to replace it
Build
with
the whole
this
thing,
with this?
You already
Yeah.
know that. You already said that's a prediction that's not going to come true. So.
Not gonna happen.
Hey,
And also, even
probably
if it
not.
did, it wouldn't be
'Cause
at a
it
game
makes sense.
showcase. Like both of Asante's and
Very true.
SloMo's things are things that would not be at a showcase either. You know?
I kind of agree with you. I can see that. All right, Punty, RHETRI, crazy prediction: Grand Theft Auto 6 and Game Pass in 2024. WebDave.
It'd be
Well,
a crazy
after-
prediction for
that's
Grand Theft
crazy.
Auto 6 to be at the show, right? That would be nuts.
After knowing what
wow.
they spent their budget between 1 and 2 billion, which is a weird two numbers to say because they're so far apart from each other.
Yeah.
I don't see that ever happening. If there was, a snowball's chance in hell of GTA 6 getting in there, it's gone because Xbox would have to pay through the nines.
I would
to get those
imagine.
right.
I would imagine PlayStation already has marketing for Grand
Well,
Theft Auto
that's
6.
a lot of people are saying that too, which is definitely possible, which makes sense. Yeah, that's a smart move on PlayStation's part. If they did that, that's why Xbox needs to do more marketing deals, in my opinion.
SloMo, do you think Bethesda's going to have anything to show at the show?
Potentially, I would say probably potentially Indiana Jones, more of
so,
that.
So do you think the naming convention doesn't mean anything, or
Nah, I just think that now they feel like people there. It's been 2 years of shows where they've been like Xbox and Bethesda. I think now they kind of feel like people expect when you see the Xbox show, you expect to see something from the ZeniMax, the ZeniMax Media umbrella. So now it's a part of Xbox now. It's not that they've been fully integrated, because clearly, as we saw with the pipeline of managing stuff, that has not happened yet. But as far as the impression of things, what people expect from Bethesda, they expect it to be synonymous with Xbox at this point. Or at least I think they hope that's the case. So that's why it's just the Xbox showcase, and you're going to see Bethesda games there.
And if you think
you're gonna
about
see
it,
Xbox games there.
if you think about it, presuming that the ABK thing had gone through and they hadn't made any of those changes, you're talking now about the Xbox, Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard King showcase.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too long in the tooth at
Right?
that point.
It's just
you
too
gotta
long
take
of
a
a
breath
name.
to say the whole thing, you know.
So they
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
wanted to just cut bait right now, one way or another. So next time, hey, this is the cadence. We'll give them their own little shine for a year, maybe two, and then they become part of the main the mothership, right?
A
We shall
couple
see.
of ideas, I think, that of third-party games that they may have
Yeah.
marketing for that we might see there. That Unreal Engine 5 Destiny-ish Magic game. What is it? Something of Averum, whatever. Sounds like a UA kind of young adult book or something, but it's just
that's the EA. I think that's the EA game you're talking about.
Yes.
Portals of Averum or whatever?
Yes.
Yes. EA tends to, whenever they do any marketing, we see a lot of times they lean towards Xbox on their marketing. So I also kind of feel like maybe the next Battlefield, which so the guy that had the studio V1 Interactive, their game bombed, but he got hired on to EA to do a single player, more narrative focused Battlefield game. That was a few years ago. That might actually be close to at least being revealed. That's something that might be coming out soon. And considering they had the marketing for Battlefield 2042, it wouldn't surprise me if they had the marketing for all the other Battlefield games that are coming out, because there are at least 3 Battlefield projects that are in development right now. So if one of them is soon to be revealed and potentially close to coming out, I can see that being at the show too.
I like
Do
that.
we see any Koji Pro stuff?
That was going to be my crazy prediction.
Yeah.
Was that we see
Because-
Kojima's game?
Yeah, because remember
Ooh,
when we did see that Koji Pro really makeshift, hey, he's working with us, nothing to see here, goodbye. We expected to see more, because even around that announcement, there were grainy photos, leaked photos of people who have played it. Right, for as true as they are or not, we shall see. But it was reported by both reputable and not so reputable sources that there were actual playable versions of that thing out there in the ether. We didn't get to see any of that, but that was last year. So with that backdrop, do we actually get to see proper madness.
I would love to see whatever monstrosity Kojima is going to show us.
Yeah.
I can't stand. I'm like, let me reel that back for a second.
Yeah.
I think Kojima is highly overrated. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, that's contentious. I like it.
Death Stranding, I think, is a flaming pile of poo that you also in the game get to throw piles of poo for some odd reason. And I think that since he has left Kojima, people just allow him to let his creative juices flow, and you never go full Kojima. Just don't do it. He's full Kojima now. He does whatever weirdness pops in his head when he's on his ass trip
Kojima
is exactly what comes out in the game.
By
Xbox is said, sure, we're on for the ride for it. So get ready. Because some of you guys are going to be like, yeah, we got Kojima. And when he shows
so what do you
he's
mean
making,
by full Kojima,
like,
though, bro? What do you mean by full Kojima?
It means all the way crazy.
Some say like the breathing skin thing was half Kojima, right? So if breathing skin is half Kojima, what do you think is full Kojima?
You going full Kojima? Full Kojima is you think throat babies, pause was something you're gonna see in gaming. Wait till you see this thing that he's gonna do with Xbox. We're gonna go with baby buttholes or something. I don't know. Look, it's Kojima is out in his own world, and I don't think he is I've always said this. I kind of felt like Konami kind of reined him in a little bit. Some of the people that he had with him when he was with Konami kind of was like, wow, that's a crazy idea, man. Yeah, how about we think on that for a while, huh? How about we just kind of just rest on it, and then probably not put this in the game, please. I think some of his craziest ideas didn't get implemented, and then you kind of get the high quality Metal Gear games where, for example, hey, you're losing to this boss, and you got to actually unplug your controller and put it in the controller 2 slot so that he can't read all your movements. That's genius. But it's sometimes I haven't seen that kind of genius since he left. I think he's just out there, and I kind of feel like whatever that next game might be, people are gonna be like, yay, and then they see it and they'll be like, oh, okay.
Full Kojima.
You asked for it, you got it. So I'm just, I would love to see what craziness he's put together. I can't wait.
I like that. Do you guys think? Here's one. I don't know if this is too crazy. Do you think the Halo multiplayer or single player, which probably multiplayer, from Certain Affinity, the Tatanka, could possibly debut here? Because that would be kind of big, to get the whole battle royale thing. It's still cooking, still hot these days. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think it is, if they haven't switched that specifically to Unreal Engine the way they're doing everything else in Unreal Engine that's Halo related now. If that's still going to be in Slipspace, then I think we'll probably see it. But if they got to transition all their content and everything they've been working on into Unreal Engine, then I don't think we're probably going to see that until next year.
I don't think we'll see it.
No, nothing on Tatanka.
No.
I just want to know that it's going to happen and it's real and it exists. Honestly, at this point, an update would be great. But I guess there's also third party stuff. So I would like to see a little partnership, with Sega. Maybe we get some of their crazy taxi and Jet Set Radio and their quote unquote super games coming from Sega. So I think a Jet Set Radio little partnership during this would be kind of cool.
That is in development. The remake is, some kind of Jet Set Radio is in development, so that's definitely possible.
The leaked screenshot looked like it was a mature looking thing. It was definitely a remake of the original version. So one can only hope. I will take a Jet Set Radio Future remake or re-release.
What about since we're talking about those leaks, Persona 3 Remake also leaked in those same things, and we know Microsoft debuted the Persona 3, 4, and 5 last year.
Right.
What if they announced the Persona 3 remake?
Yeah.
Is that something that could happen?
I think so. I mean, they've been pushing. They've
cool.
definitely been pushing Eastern games like crazy on Game Pass. So I wouldn't see not.
The problem with trying to think of third-party stuff is that Xbox has typically moved away from that.
Right.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
But before, like 2019 and before, it was like, yeah, like half the show would be like AAA, big AAA third parties, and you'd have like your indie segment, you know, like where they would show like 10 indie games in a reel or whatever, and then you'd have your first party stuff. But ever since Game Pass has really become its own thing, since 2020, they've really structured the show to be like, mostly everything you see here is on Game Pass. You know, I think last year was everything except for Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. I think the year before, or 2021, was like, it was like every game except for 2. One of them was like Battlefield 2042, right? So they typically try to have the whole show where it's like, oh, and you can play all these games for free. So, and we know now most AAA developers aren't really going to put their game day one in the service. So that really kind of limits Xbox to the types of games they can show. Plus, PlayStation is out there really trying their hardest to get marketing for everything. Like the new Mortal Kombat 1, you know, that's going to be at Sony Showcase because that is, you know, that they have the marketing. Same with like, they got marketing for like all 3 of the big fighters coming this year. Like Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, Tekken 8. So it really limits the type of games, the big games that Xbox can show for third party because they want to like be like, oh, Game Pass, and you can play these games in here. So
well, that's what I'm wondering. Do you think it'll be first party, or do you think they'll do like a sizzle reel for like Stalker 2, Liza P, Flintlock, Hollow Knight, Warhammer? Well, if Warhammer Dark Tide ever sees the light.
Well, I mean, I think Stalker 2 we might see again. Maybe because you know they need to. Well, I don't know if they need to give a release date, but. I think the show will be mostly based around Microsoft's first party and then rounded out by maybe some select third party announcements, but mostly then like indie titles that they have deals with for Game Pass. That typically seems to be the strategy Microsoft has employed since live shows have went away, right? If you kind of look at what they've done since 2020, it's like that's kind of the blueprint. And, you know, it's to some that's really exciting. To others, it's really not. Other people want to be like, I want to see Resident Evil. I want to see, you know, XYZ big AAA game, and it's not going to be there. So it makes predicting third-party stuff a little difficult because you kind of know that like, well, that's probably not going to be there, right?
Right. Yeah. Anything from Double Fine do you guys think we'll see? Since, you know, we haven't seen anything from them. Maybe just
they
like
do have a couple games.
Teaser.
They do have a couple games they're working on, so it's possible you see something.
And what are those, Ren?
I don't know. No idea.
Just trying to get you to spill the beans.
Multiplayer. I think one of them is a multiplayer game. I think.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Okay.
I think one of them is.
Nice.
Based on like job listings and stuff.
Yeah. There you go.
I like that.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Reggie
there you
found
go,
the
guys.
man in trouble.
But I mean, Psychonauts 2 came out what, a year and a half ago?
2021. Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will probably be maybe
little
a
teaser,
too
maybe.
soon. You know, to see
Yeah, it definitely could be too soon for sure. Yeah.
Too soon. They showed Fable in 2020, and that game might not come out till 2025.
Well, we
You're not wrong,
had an announcement of Fable. I don't think that fairy and that frog are going to show up in the actual game. Especially not that fairy, you know, rest in peace. But you know, like teaser trailers to teaser trailers. I mean, maybe they could do a teaser of something that they're working on. But I don't to see anything substantial, like like this is what the game's going to look like, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what about the Starfield Direct?
Yeah, that's what.
Because that's the other big part of this is 30 minutes of Starfield and God Howard. You know,
in 30 frames per second.
Oh, so you're going 30 frames
on console.
I'm
no.
What do you think, Rand?
So SloMo says no performance mode on Series X.
I have no idea what I think.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think there probably
I will
be
not be surprised either.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like I kind of feel like I'm leaning towards there will be a performance mode, but then I kind of feel like if you know that for certain, especially in light of everything that happened, I feel like Phil should have just been like, hey, look, it's a performance mode.
Phil's not going to take that announcements away from God Howard. That's his announcement, you know.
Yeah.
That's true. So Ran, you're on the 60 FPS train for.
Oh
for
no,
the,
no. My
He's like,
expectations.
do not quote me on that.
My expectations is that it's 30 frames. If there's a performance mode, awesome, amazing.
Right.
But I'm going in there thinking this baby's 30 because the Bethesda games are a totally different type of a game, right?
Absolutely.
Everything's interactable. I just, with how big that game is and stuff, it's just kind of like I'm expecting it just to be. And then Todd said he likes 30 FPS experiences. So
you know what, Rand? I will see what you say about everything being interactable, and I completely agree with you. And I'll add to that the fact that when they put pen to pad on this game, they were a multi-plat studio.
yeah,
And if you're putting pen to pad while you're a multi-plat studio, where's the biggest pool of people that play in the console space? PlayStation.
Nintendo Switch.
PlayStation. 'Cause you're not using Nintendo Switch.
Is it? Didn't Microsoft just say they had more monthly active users than PlayStation?
True. They definitely do have more. They have more people that play games on Xbox, but there are more bodies.
That
on
doesn't even
PlayStation,
include the
oddly.
150 million of people that play Minecraft every month.
Sure, exactly. But I guess the reason why I say what I'm saying is because, like, in order for you to ensure that something like the Series S gets a 60 frames per second mode in a game that big,
No.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Don't worry about the Series S. Or did you say Series
Sure.
X?
I meant Series S or X.
Oh, well, no, because I
Like,
thought you were saying, well, if Series S can't do it, then you can't do it. It's like, screw this.
No.
If the
That's
Series
not-
X
that's
can
not
do
what I'm
60
saying.
and the Series S can't, then don't
Then
worry
do the
about
Series
it.
S
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is because they are now first party and everybody expects first party from them. But you can't turn around and go do that and clean that up from the beginning. They didn't start that in the beginning. So if this thing is 60 frames per second, I will be stunned. I
Well,
will be very surprised.
I'll be happily surprised. But Phil did say at the Kind of Funny interview that they were able to get in there really early on Starfield
Sure,
and help out
sure.
with
Yes,
sending
sure.
the
Yes.
advanced technology group in to help out. Does that help the game? Does
hope
that
so.
does you know
It
because
helps if it's 60 FPS because if it's
I
not,
hope so.
people gonna be bringing that comment up that Phil made and be like, "So what
Absolutely.
did you do if you guys got in early and swarmed it? Like, what did you swarm to do?"
They
They
Exactly.
added in an extra 500 planets, you ungrateful mother. You know what I mean?
and
but
one of those
still, it's
planets
at
is
30 frames.
Skyrim, by the way. you know?
Exactly.
Hey, you want to
I'll
play
be patient,
Skyrim? Go
man.
ahead, play it again in Starfield.
Yeah.
You know what if
Funny.
what if one of the big announcements for this is that Starfield's in the Fallout universe? Because I was trying to think, like, could they start
blowing my
doing
mind.
could you start doing a thing where like their games are connected? Like Starfield's in the Fall. Well, I mean, I guess like Starfield's in the Fallout universe, or
part of
Elder
Pillars of
Scrolls is
Eternity.
in.
Yeah.
Could that be something? I don't know.
Be crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
I like
People have been
I like
trying
theory.
to get Doom Guy and Halo together for a while now. The crossovers are all over the place.
Wouldn't it be a crazy thing to happen if like at the showcase you had a Fallout announcement of some kind?
Be nice.
You know, everybody thinks that like you won't see a Fallout game for years, but like, what if there was a new one?
So people, just so you understand, this is what Randall Thor does. He throws just like a random nugget in there. And then it ends up being one of those things that he knew
Think
all
about
along.
this.
No.
I'm just trying to figure out which one of these is really real.
Is real?
This is
Right.
This is what Rand does,
Throwing that
man. This is
hypothetical
what
out
Rand does.
Poor
He'll
Rand.
throw out a bunch of just throw out a bunch of chum, and then every once in a while he'll drop a nugget that he knows is a nugget, and then it just kind of leave it there. So I hear you, Rand.
This is not a
Keep an eye
nugget
out.
at all. This is not one of those.
Pin.
Clip
I
it.
was
Clip it.
lost in the chat. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, right. You're going to get slothed. Yeah.
No, not again. Oh, man. You know
Better
what?
not, because I just made that up. It ain't happening.
There you go. Yes, yes.
You wanted
I
a
won't
crazy
feel-
prediction. There you go.
I
There you
won't
go.
feel bad
Love
for
it.
you, Rand, because you got me slothed about the whole.
I didn't get you, Sloth. You, but it might actually be true because
You were
saw
on the phone, literally begging them to sloth me.
He was
and then they
listening.
slothed me.
He was listening. And I mean, you saw the thing that Billy, whatever that Twitter user is, there's a controller and a headset supposed to be announced around that time frame. I
really?
wonder if that's the Starfield controller and Starfield headset.
Let us move swiftly along, says the man who's learned from his big mouth.
Interesting.
Yes,
The
indeed,
true
Derek.
insider's been revealed. Okay,
No, stop that, Rand, because we know you and your nuggets. It's all right.
Nah,
it's fine.
it's not true.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I'm gonna throw one more little thing out there as we start to wrap up the night. And again, I want to thank everybody that was here tonight, everybody in the chat. We're not done yet, so don't leave. We have over 162 people in the chat at one time, and we greatly appreciate that. It's big numbers for us because we're growing our channel and trying to get up there. And also great appreciation to our panel members tonight, SloMoBackSlap, Asante, and Thor19. You guys are absolutely amazing. Hit it out of the park. All stellar members of the community, and we greatly appreciate you taking your time on a Sunday to join us tonight, and even some Mother's Day. So we might step above. So thank you for doing that. One crazy prediction thrown out there is, what if at the showcase they say, you know what? Oh, by the way, we bought this studio and we bought this studio.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Can you imagine? Wouldn't that be great? Because we know they had some plans, and they're and you're thinking,
Maybe a Sobo. It'd have to be an obvious one, I think.
Sure,
it would have to be like something along the lines of a Sobo, like something that's not going to rock
get more confidence in the
rock the
brand
boat too much.
It
or certain
sounds
affinity.
crazy, but hasn't ZeniMax also bought a studio recently?
Yes,
They did.
Like, a couple
Yeah,
months back?
yeah. I can't remember the name of it though.
Yeah.
The heck was
Yeah, I
it?
forget which one.
That's how you do it. Let the
Wasn't
other
it for the
guys do it for
ZeniMax?
you.
Was it the ZeniMax team or was it?
Yeah,
I think you're right.
ZeniMax
Yeah, it was like
online
a
team. Yeah.
support studio or something like that, like a
Yeah.
small team. Yeah.
but still,
It's the fact that they bought something while all of this was happening, and they just kind of announced it. Hey, by the way,
Well, that
this
was
is our new-
Bethesda.
That's how you
Bethesda
backdoor it
wasn't,
though.
That's the thing. Like
That's the
Bethesda
point,
do it.
you know?
Xbox
Bethesda
has been
go
kind
buy
of
certain affinity done.
But Xbox
Right,
has been
yeah.
knee deep in the Activision mergers and acquisition shit.
Yeah.
So, and like, I doubt they have the time to really go and like acquire somebody else. Maybe they did, but I doubt it.
No.
yeah.
Well, you never know. I mean, I don't think I think the timing's wrong. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. But they did. It's definitely wishful thinking. I like your wishful thinking because I like craziness.
Are you going to
But, I mean,
bring
they
up the
did-
whole leaked DMs of Itagaki?
Of what?
That
Good.
happened.
No, I
Sante's
was-
like, what are you talking about? Leaked DMs.
No.
Did you not see Sloth's
didn't
tweet
catch
about
that?
that?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
We're like
You
some-
said- you said it.
Some guy like asked Itagaki about like acquisitions or something. He started talking. I don't know, like basically mentioning like you're gonna get acquired by
might work with
Microsoft or
Xbox.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Okay.
But it's like he hasn't done anything worthwhile in 10 years, and I was thinking, well, it'd be perfect for Xbox then, huh?
So,
Like,
so
this
you're
is fitting.
saying much like Everborn Saga, Microsoft needs them on their knees when they're not achieving. That's what they need.
That's
them.
right.
I think that's a terrible notion, but okay. I hope I just want them to raise our confidence level. That's all.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no one game that needs to come out, one this, one that. You know, and I know there's this conversation about, well, this is what's more appropriate for a game show versus that. I need, and y'all have heard me say this before, I need that kitchen sink approach, right? Just like PlayStation would have been like, hey, they now have ABK, nothing to see here. Let's blow your wig back with amazing content to shore up your confidence in us. So must happen for Microsoft, and I just need to see that. I hope that happens this time.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I agree with you, Kay.
And as we're like I said, we're getting ready to start going around the horn. We'll get everybody out of here because I know SloMo needs to step out because he's got family things going on, and we greatly appreciate your time, man.
The kids are scrapping and clawing at the office door.
I get you. I understand.
Little monsters that they
They
are.
need to be taken for a walk.
understand that.
Yeah, I see. I know what you're talking about.
That's right.
One thing I want to keep in everybody's mind is that you know, a lot of people, a lot of slander comes up a lot of times for people that are I guess are in support of Xbox, and you know, they think, you know, sometimes they're going the wrong path or that kind of thing. But I do think that King David said it best.
Let them know you guys are in my DM. King, what will we do? We will hold the line.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good show coming up. That is for sure. And again, thanks everybody for being here. Rand, tell everybody where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me, on YouTube, youtube.com/RandThor19. Xbox 2 podcast with Jez Corden every Friday, mostly 90% of the time. So thanks for having me on. I loved it. And we got less than a 2-hour show. I'm used to like 4-hour bangers.
We did it.
Well, I'll put it this way.
Short and sweet.
I want you to come back again. I want you to be like 18 hours later. Oh, goodness. So, trust me, I could talk to you all night, but like I said, your time is valuable too, and we do appreciate that. And also, everybody's, I'm going to go around to everybody else, but in the description below is everybody's links to their Twitter and to their pages, and I'll try and get all that stuff in there. So please, if you want to, just click on the link below. If you're watching this later, support all these guys because they're all amazing members of the community, and we actually need to get Rand over 100,000 so that he'll come on camera and he'll get that beautiful plaque that he well deserves. Just saying.
Yes, but I
Let's do that, man.
Yeah, we'll see.
So say
Don't seem very confident.
Moonwalking.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I mean, I promised I would at 100, but
Hey,
we'll
even
see how
for
long
one
that
episode,
takes.
then you've made your commitment,
Right, just do it one time and then never to be seen again.
There you go. SloMo, where can everybody find you at, sir?
Name is SloMoBackSlap. You can find me on my own YouTube channel of the same name, as well as on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Kick, Kick Punch, Kick Push, whatever. It's every platform is SloMoBackSlap. So it's a pleasure being here with you, Dave, and it's I remember we did the interview thing a while ago, and that was like 3 hours. I feel like it was a long time. It was a while, but it was
a great show.
It was a great show. So I enjoy jumping on anytime you need me. Just let me know. Let me get going now because I got a little 7-year-old girl staring daggers at me. But Kay, good to see you again, bro. Rand, as usual, my Bridge 4 brother. You guys have a good one, man. Take care.
Thank
You
you,
too,
sir.
SloMo. Thank you, man.
Okay, Asante, tell us where behind you.
Yeah, well, as usual, you find me lurking here in the gaming console, trying to let them in, let me in the door. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. When they don't, I linger in the chat and I send speed pipe gloom and doom video audio. So thank you guys so much for letting me jump on as usual. I appreciate you letting me be here. Co-host of the Gaming Circle podcast happens on Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. A lot of, we try to have good, interesting conversation. We disagree properly. We try to, as the internet tends to go overboard. So we have a pretty good show, and we're getting a lot of good views, and a lot of people are supporting. So we appreciate all that support. I will say, and this is for this audience because we're not promoting it because it will be basically episode 0. We're not promoting it. There's no fanfare. But if you happen to be around on tomorrow around 7 p.m., there may be you're a person who's how should I put it? You're open-minded to possibly gaming on other things besides boxes that's in your living room.
PC Master Race. I know where you're going.
I ain't going there. I'm just saying, if you happen to be open-minded to devices that themselves aren't just little boxes, aka if you're not of the
really
Honda
big
Civic
boxes.
persuasion, that's neither here nor there. Maybe you want to come on my channel and on Monday. Myself and John Wolf, a great member of the community,
Nice.
in the chat right now. I think we're kind of putting things together. We're doing a little something here, and probably Monday night, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, we'll just kind of like do a dead air, just turn it on and
Just a trial.
just a trial run. Yeah. So tomorrow you'll probably see a bit more of that. We're going more for the 101 crowd. We're going more for pro tips and answering questions and helping people dip their toes into those waters. So you'll hear and see more about that. But yes, if you happen to be around tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come check us out, and be part of what is probably going to be a shit show. Because it's a new show.
It's gonna be great. I'm actually looking forward to that one. I can get
Me
some
too. I'll
PC
be
tips
there.
from you guys. It's gonna be great.
I'll be there. And of course, Asante, you always have the keys to the kingdom, sir. You always are more
Appreciate
than
it.
welcome
Thank you,
to come on with us. And RHETRI, tell everybody where they can find you. I'm gonna put that in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, of course. On Twitter, you guys can find me, GamePass_daily. I do all the Game Pass stuff, and Game Pass Daily on the YouTubes, where I do my shorts and short content for you guys. Just trying to keep it nice and neat and small for you. But of course, here, Gamers Council, I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. You just, you killed it. You broke records for us, and we appreciate that. We'd love a sub as well. We're getting to 1,000, which is a big deal for us. And as a new guy to this game and being on the mic, it's a big deal for me. So I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. So I love you and thank you for coming out. And thank you, panel, and thank you, Randall, and thank you, Asante and SloMo, for being here. You guys were awesome tonight. Appreciate
What an
it.
absolutely amazing show. Truly blessed to have such great members of the community. Also want a big shout out to Lady Blackheart and Zayden, friends of mine from a long time ago that are jumped in the chat tonight to say hello, and appreciate the support and love you guys. And man, what a great show. Can't tell you guys enough how much of an honor it is to be in this community. This community is amazing. Yeah, everybody is great, and we absolutely love being here. We love talking games, and thanks everybody for showing up, and thank you for everyone. And please don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and all these panel members, if you haven't joined their channels already, please do so. It's free. It's free to hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it does a lot for them, and it's greatly appreciated. Thanks to everybody for joining us here on the Gamers Council.